So the title of my message today is Holy Encounters with Each Other. And so my heart is so full. Don't even worry about Keely Brigid chattering in the background. And actually, I'm sorry at home because you probably can't hear. It's Keely. We could. Who came to surprise Baba. What are we paying attention to in this, our happy new year of life at Unity Church in Albany? Every year, the month of March holds not only this, first weekend, our annual meeting that is really that transition time, that liminal space where we say thank you. Peggy has served nearly a life sentence on the board. Diane is getting out for good behavior. And Carol, you're stuck in the transition point for a while till our new treasurer is determined and on board. And we have 3 wonderful candidates. Of course we do, because that is how the Spirit works, and that is how the discernment process works. And here we are. We have Ursula, Chris, and Tim who have said yes to being of service in this way. And what a gift they will be on this next iteration of our shared leadership. So, we have this chance for, and actually, Dennis reminded me, not only is March 17th poetry, there will be some special hospitality, Irishy themed things, because, those of you who aren't actually Irish are Irish on that day anyways, so that'll be fun. But it is also the 28th anniversary of the first service that was held in this space that we make holy by our presence. So I'm going to ask your leeway because I have a few questions for you on our annual checkup. On your first or second time here, and you can raise your hands as we get to it, there's no real quiz at the end. How many of you were greeted on your first or second time here by someone who recognized that you were new? Maybe you've been here for so long you don't remember. That's okay too. How many of you have felt stirred by music or a prayer or a message that lifted your heart and touched your spirit? You're doing great so far. How many of you felt a sense of openness and connection that drew you in and made you want to come back? Oh man, this is great. How many of you read the message, "Peace be still," on that wall and felt something shift in you? How many of you have encountered the holy here in this place we make holy? How many of you have found the grace to live out of step with the noise of the world, to live more fully from your divine essence? Okay, I know that one's a little harder, so here's the next question. How many of you have felt the comfort of knowing you're not alone when your full humanity showed up as less than the full God being with us? I don't love it when my humanity is showing, but that is the gift of coming together. When we come back into this space for the annual meeting, I'm going to share a poem prayer that I shared at the beginning of last year's. It may be the annual event about an invocation about coming into this place. But the beauty of that prayer is that it is not the building that we have given such tender loving care to this building so that it can continue to house us. We're going to step in faith that that furnace will be replaced this week because we had just the right people come together to help make that decision and to step out in faith that we have all that we need to continue to care for each other and this building. So I mentioned last week, and really Sam, actually the shape of that talk on Wednesday, and again for those of you who are there, I came across a writer, Meg Wheatley, that I sort of referred to last week, but I just pre-ordered her book because the idea that she writes about, it just seems so perfect to what we do here. So Meg Wheatley has done a lot of work, but the book that I'm referring to, she talks about how we create islands of sanity. So on her website, with a little bit of an excerpt from that book, there's this to begin about how she came through her research to come to this idea. So I'll start with this definition of refugia. Mother Earth knows how to create places of refuge. Refugia is a biological term describing places of shelter where life endures in times of crisis, such as a volcanic eruption, fire, or stressed climate. Ideally, these places of refuge endure, expand, and connect so that new life emerges. We are a refugia. She writes in her forthcoming book, and again, it's just a blip. It's not coming out till March 19th, so you will hear this again because it's so deeply called to me, and I hope it will call to you as well. An island of sanity is a gift of possibility and refuge created by people's commitment to form healthy community to do meaningful work. We realize we cannot keep swimming alone in these toxic seas. We create these organizations, communities, and with dear colleagues. We are not seeking safety. We're not seeking safety from that storm. We're seeking a safe refuge so that we can make our contribution to the safety of all. She continues, we don't move physically, right? Here we are in this space where we are creating conditions that awaken the human spirit. We together create conditions to nurture our spirits. And then in this island, we move out into our family islands, into our friendship islands, into our workplaces, and we become refuge in the ways that we show up, in the ways that we nourish each other, in the ways that we connect beyond anything that seems to divide us, where we can point to the other as enemy. And we create the conditions where we truly come to know each other. Where in this space we show up with vulnerability, with openness, with humor, with the depth of who we are. And we create a refuge here that feeds us then as we move out into our other circles. That inner work of holding the paradox and the tension, if it creates tension, of those places in ourselves that we don't want to look at. but that kind of push through every now and again, whether we like it or not, with those best impulses that we also have. And we show up with all of that. We soften each other's edges. Maybe we sharpen each other's edges. That's what relationships do. And we continue to build relationship, to build intimacy, to build moments of simple joys together. That's what we celebrate today at our annual meeting. The continuing way that this community shows up committed to each other. Some in stepping into a new leadership role, some in stepping out of that kind of a leadership role and finding other ways to continue to be of service and to grow their own path, so that we together can continue to find what lights us up. How are we showing up from this island of sanity, from this refuge, and awakening to the truth that there may be many perceptions of what the truth is, but there is only one heart. And from that space of one heart, we feed each other. So I'm going to close with some words of one of my favorite Irish Celtic poets. He is a teacher of my heart, John O'Donoghue. And I took his poem for a new home and adapted it for us. So thank you, John. So hear these words as our call. May this community shelter your life. When you come home here, may all the weight of the world fall from your shoulders. May your heart be tranquil here, blessed by peace the world cannot give. May this home be a place of divine givingness, where the graces your life desires always find the pathway to your door. May nothing destructive ever cross your threshold. May this be a safe place full of understanding and acceptance, where you can be as you are, without the need of any mask or pretense or image. May this home be a place of discovery, where the possibilities that sleep in the clay of your soul can emerge to deepen and refine your vision for all that is yet to come to birth in a world transformed by the spiritual awakening of all. May this be a sacred space of courage, where healing and growth are loved, where dignity and forgiveness prevail. A home where patience of spirit is prized and the sight of the destination is never lost. Though the journey be difficult and slow, may there be great delight around this sanctuary. May it be a house of welcome for all that feels broken and diminished. May you have the eyes to see and embrace the divine essence of all beings, to see that no visitor arrives without a gift and no guest leaves without a blessing. We are a community on the path, on a path of cooperation with the infinite, on a path that recognizes that sometimes we just want to lay down and rest. We're on a path with the divine givingness of the universe, and together we pay attention to all that is awakening in us, through us, and as us. And so it is. Amen.